the report or just say there's going to be a survey coming out?
I think he gave you a little script to read in his email, which I'd have to pull up. Maybe do
I'll
that.
find it.
Maybe do that at the beginning.
Streaming live via the internet. Welcome to ISP Radio, your weekly source for ISP-related news, events, and interviews with industry experts. If you deliver internet via fiber optic, wireless, coax, or any other way, you're in the right place. Chat live with us weekly via ispradio.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now a brief word from our sponsors. Link Technologies, providing ISP consulting, support, and hardware for wireless ISPs. TowerCoverage.com, providing online RF coverage maps. And now your host for ISP Radio, Steve Grabiel and Dennis Burgess.
Welcome to another edition of ISP Radio. I'm your host, Steve Grabiel, broadcasting from hot Moriarty, New Mexico. Sun is shining, and there's no clouds in the sky out here. But Dennis has different story to tell. Tell us about what happened, Dennis.
Oh, we just had some wonderful lightning and some routers that kind of blew up and all that kind of good stuff. Nothing that we can't handle, of course, but it was all taken care of and up and running. But you know how it works. Nothing is perfect all the time. So honestly, the downtime was very minimal, etc. So I think maybe 20 minutes last night. I mean, that's how quick we got on it. So was very, very quick. Should all be good for the most part. So with that said, you know, keep going. It's supposed to be stupid hot this week, though. Like 112 is the heat index.
My God.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, 100% humidity or some crap like that too. So
Ugh.
yeah, nasty weather, but that's okay. We'll keep going. That's why we have this thing called air conditioning.
Exactly. Thank goodness for reefer air.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, this show today is action-packed. We've got Alex Phillips, the president of WISPA and owner of High Speed Links, and Steve Coran with Lerman Center to tell us all about what's going on with Title II and some other things that WISPA's got in the hopper. So you guys there?
We're all here.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Stephen, you want to start us off of what's happened to Title II and where we're going and how it's the end of the world for us?
Well, like most things, it's not the end of the world, and the sky doesn't fall down in one big fell swoop. It usually falls down in chunks. So think of it as regulation by 1,000 cuts instead of just sort of one big deal. But this was a big deal. And last month, the District of Columbia Court of Appeals gave the FCC and the government a clear victory in the challenge against the FCC's open internet rules that it adopted last February 2015. As a little bit of background, there were 3 different appeals of the FCC's decision. One was a group of 7 in which WISPA joined with U.S. Telecom, NCTA, the American Cable Association, CenturyLink, AT&T. I'm probably missing one. A second one was filed by some folks, including Alamo Broadband, that sought to overturn the rules on First Amendment grounds. And then there was a third group that said, you know, the FCC didn't have authority to forbear from all of these Title II rules that it was reclassifying broadband providers under. So let me kind of give you a rundown as to what happened and what the impact is. So the first issue does the FCC have authority to reclassify broadband providers as Title II telecommunications common carriers? And all 3 judges, Judge Tatel, Judge Srinivasan, and Judge Williams, all agreed that the FCC had that authority, that as the expert agency, they were entitled to broad deference under what's called Chevron, the old Chevron case from can't remember when, and that as an agency, it has the ability to interpret things, especially when congressional authority is somewhat, when the rules are somewhat ambiguous. And the question here was whether broadband providers are treated as telecommunications providers or information service providers. And the question that was raised in the old Brandt X case was that was somewhat ambiguous, so the FCC has the authority to come in and and interpret that. And the FCC did so. They did have the authority to reclassify. So where the court split, however, and rather sharply, was on whether the FCC provided adequate notice and whether they adequately justified their change in their policy. So two of the judges said that the FCC did provide adequate notice, that it was considering Title II, and that the rules were, quote, a logical outgrowth of what the FCC proposed in its notice of proposed rulemaking. Some people probably see the court's decision as an expansion of that. I think most of us have kind of understood for a while that all you have to do